What's up, you guys? This is JYoungGo2 back with another video. And in this video today, you saw the thumbnail, you saw the title, and I'm assuming, of course, you can process information. Good for you. Well, we're going to be talking about the man, the one, the only, James Harden. Man, oh man, this has been an interesting few days. I know I may be somewhat late, of course, posting this video, but I like to learn as much as I can and really just see what is being said and things of that nature, and just kind of, sum up everything in perspective, basically. And we all know that James Harden, he's not the only player. There's been many players, Damian Lillard, James Harden, Kevin Durant. The list goes on of guys really now taking the charge of their careers and doing things that benefit them, especially as superstar players. They do have that leverage. Kyrie Irving, another great example, just popped in my head. But these guys have a lot of power in situations to really drastically change things, and by making these trade demands and things of that nature, 9 out of 10, as you all have seen throughout the history of it, it happens. You can say that the situation with Kyrie Irving was, a bit much, of course, with him sitting out. I mean, he had his own reasons for why he sat out during his time with the Brooklyn Nets, and of course, he ends up getting traded and things of that nature. I would say that with James Harden, because he wanted to trade because of that situation as well with Kyrie Irving, and of course, the direction that the Houston Rockets were going at the time wasn't really good, and he just basically came in with no motivation, no energy, just really unprofessional. This is something that has been happening throughout his entire NBA career during these times when the trades are going to happen. And because of that now, this situation with Philly, James Harden is doing this, I feel like, because he just wants to leverage in the situation. He wants to basically force his way out of there, and to make things worse, he goes out in public in China and tells the entire world basically that Daryl Morey is a liar, and I don't never want to play on a team with Daryl Morey. Managed to get him things of that nature. It's just a mess. It's really a mess. And the problem with this is that, of course, James Harden, he opted into his deal, his contract, and he did sacrifice money, I believe like $14 million in cap space for the 76ers to go out and get more pieces for their team. And I understand that, in his perspective, he wants his money, and he still believes in a way that he is, that James Harden that was that good on the Rockets. But the reality is that I believe that James Harden, and from what we've seen, he's definitely not that same Harden anymore. His playmaking ability is amazing. It's one of the best in the league and all that. But as far as scoring and that adventure style of play, James Harden is no longer that guy anymore. And come on now, he's playing on a 76ers team that is led by Joel Embiid, who is their franchise player, a guy who they've shown and taken action on to show that they are committed to building a team around Joel Embiid. And they've done this throughout many years, even when they traded for Jimmy Butler, for crying out loud, on the team. They have been committed to winning around Joel Embiid and helping him win an NBA championship. And I believe now, this puts Joel Embiid as well in a situation where you question, do you really want to be here? Because James Harden is basically right now ruining a franchise as we speak. And, the crazy part is, of course, they are not trading him away, which is understandable, because this is pretty much, in a way, no other team really wants James Harden like that on their team. There's not really good deals in return, and the Clippers were the main team that Harden wanted to go to. And they really just could never come to a conclusion on the deal. And even if they could do, I don't think the Clippers would want to trade away Paul George, or any guy like that on their team for Harden. And this is really putting, as I said, this Philadelphia 76ers organization in big jeopardy, because you have a guy who demanded the trade, and you have a franchise player who is trying to commit himself to win there. But he made comments earlier, I believe, in the summer, that it doesn't matter if he wins a championship with Philly or whoever, he just wants to win. And that definitely right there tells you that there is things going on, with the Philadelphia 76ers. This isn't the first time either that a situation like this has happened for them. We all know about the Ben Simmons situation where he refused to play. and things of that nature. And Harden is basically now going to do the same thing. But Harden, in this situation, really doesn't have any leverage. As a matter of fact, as many people probably know, the 76ers can block Harden from even becoming a free agent next year if he decides to sit out and things of that nature. He has really little power in this situation other than him being still a quality basketball player. He's still a really talented basketball player. And, what makes this worse for Harden is that you're putting yourself in a situation where not many teams, of course, would want to have your other team anyway because you're volatile. Like, what if a situation happens with such a team, they commit to you long term and you request a trade or you demand a trade? Like, he's putting himself in jeopardy. He's already asked for trades from several teams now, and he's doing it yet again, of course, on the 76ers team. He's putting himself in jeopardy for any other team that even wants to attempt to trade for him, because I don't think teams are going to really trust him. I don't think teams are going to be willing to take that sacrifice of getting a guy who's, in his mid-30s now especially, and giving him that type of money on top of that, and him possibly yet again demanding to be traded away. You also have to take into account that Daryl Morey, he was the guy that traded for James Harden. He believed that James Harden was a very talented basketball player when he traded him from the Oklahoma City Thunder. He looked at it from a analytical standpoint when he had James Harden on his team, because they had their owner. He really wasn't trying to spend over the luxury tax or whatever for the Rockets. So Daryl Morey went out and sacrificed and made a team literally built through the analytical side of basketball, and they were very close, as we all know, to beating that Golden State Warriors team with Kevin Durant on the roster. Of course, Chris Paul got hurt, kind of ruined everything, but Daryl Morey pretty much built James Harden in his NBA career. Now, of course, Harden put in that work himself, but Daryl Morey put Harden in that position to really flourish and show his true talent on the basketball court. He helped Harden become one of the best players. He helped him win an MVP. They went to multiple conference finals. They accomplished so many things together, and I can see why, in a way, that for Harden, this could be, I felt a betrayal in that way because of what they have had over the years and things of that nature. But the reality is that you have to do what's best for business, at the same time. And I don't see a problem at all with the Philadelphia 76ers holding on to Harden, because for them, practically speaking, like, this is really their only opportunity now with Joel Embiid really on this team and in his prime to help him win an NBA championship. All I can say after the comments and remarks that have been said, though, man, it's going to be very awkward if Harden does come to that training camp. It's going to be really, really awkward for everybody there, and, you can only hope that they find a team to trade Harden to before this thing possibly gets worse, before Harden says any more things, or he shows up at the training camp in the wrong way. You just don't know what's going to happen, because history has already shown that he's done it in the past. Man, it's going to be really interesting to watch. Daryl Morey, overall, some people may not know much about him, but this guy's a great GM. Once he traded for Harden on that Houston Rockets team, that really did just elevate his basketball career, and it put him in a really good situation along with James Harden. It's a win-win for both people in these situations. But it's just hard to see things like this happen, and you just don't know what's next, what's going to happen for this 76ers team. Their future is definitely on the line. We just have to wait and see what happens, man. But I hope you guys enjoyed this brief video on James Harden and this Philadelphia 76ers situation and disaster. Not cool about Harden at all, doing with the things that he's done. And like I said, I just don't think teams are going to want to take that sacrifice. He pretty much jeopardized his own basketball career by doing this in the first place, and it's not going to help him. He better hope the best thing for him to do is really just play great basketball this upcoming season. Like, play, even though it's going to be extremely awkward even doing that to begin with, play great, and then just try to go out and get a good contract from another team instead of sitting out and just making things even worse, because nothing's going to work by doing that either. So we shall see what happens, man. Let me know down in the comment section below, what do you think? Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more basketball content each and every single week. Have a great day. Peace.